Sometimes I tell my friends that I think I'm ready to drop everything and become a beach bum in Thailand. I love Thailand, and every now and again I think, maybe that's the move. Just disappear and live the simple life, barefoot on the beach with a coconut in hand. Now, I'm not about to pack my bags just yet, but the fact that that thought even pops up is very interesting. It makes me wonder, at what point does being super productive actually stop improving our lives? At what point does what we put in overrun the quality of what we get out? This morning I woke up, as one does, and immediately I thought of everything I want to do today. Emphasis on want, because most of the things I have in my life are things that I chose. No one is forcing me to do anything. So as I mentally went through the list, I had this moment where I thought, why? Do I really need to do all of this? Does it really matter that much? And does it actually bring me or others joy? And then I thought of the story of the fisherman and the businessman. By the way, why do most profound stories always feature fishermen? Anyway, here's the story. A businessman was on holiday in a small coastal village. One afternoon he went for a walk and noticed a small wooden boat returning to shore. On it sat a local fisherman with a few fish in a basket at his feet. The businessman complimented him on the quality of the fish and asked him how long it took him to catch them. "Not very long," the fisherman replied. So the businessman asked him, "Well, why didn't you stay longer to catch more so that you can earn more?" The fisherman replied, "Well, because what I have now is more than enough." The businessman got excited to teach this guy something valuable that can greatly improve his life. He said, "Look, with your skills, if you fish longer, you earn more. With the extra money, you could buy a bigger boat, then several boats, and eventually you'll have a fleet." The fisherman listened quietly. "With the profits, you could open your own processing plant instead of selling to middlemen. You could expand distribution, move to a major city, and build a serious enterprise." How long would that take? The fisherman asked. "Well, probably 15 to 20 years. "Okay, and then what?" "Well," said the businessman excitedly, "that's the best part. You could then sell the company for millions, retire rich, move to a nice island, sleep late, fish a little, spend time with your family, relax in the afternoons, and have a nice glass of wine in the evenings with your friends." The fisherman kindly looked at him and said, "Well, that's exactly what I'm doing right now." This isn't an argument against ambition. I believe in building. I believe in growth. I love it. But I also think it's worth asking whether what we're chasing will actually increase our quality of life. There's a principle in economics called diminishing marginal utility. I only remember it because they used pizza to explain it. It basically says that the more you have of something, the less additional joy you get from each extra one. So, when you are really hungry, that first slice of pizza is absolutely delicious. The second slice is still pretty good, but slightly less impactful than the first. Somewhere around the fourth, you might just be eating for the sake of it, and by the eighth, you might be feeling uncomfortable and questioning your life choices. Now, it's similar with what we own or what we pursue. When we have very little, what we gain feels fantastic, like that first slice of pizza when you're starving. But once we reach a point of comfort, each additional thing adds less and less to our overall sense of fulfillment. So the question really is what you are putting in truly adding enough value to justify all that cortisol running through your system? Or is it time to balance it with time to just enjoy the fruits of your labor or the fish of your fishing trip? When I was working in corporate, at some point I read Stumbling on Happiness by Daniel Gilbert, and there was a passage that prompted this question. And the question was, do the things I can buy with the money I earn outweigh the unhappiness I feel earning it? Well, I made a complete career change, so obviously I had a solid answer to that. But this doesn't only relate to work, and it doesn't have to be transactional. There are many things I do that don't bring material gain, but bring deep fulfillment, like running or doing this podcast. And the reason they stay in my life is because the joy matches or exceeds the input. I often think we just do things because we believe we should, because the majority says that's the way life is supposed to be lived. Just like the businessman, when we see opportunity, we feel we need to pursue it, and that we would be weird if we let that opportunity go. And we never really pause to question whether the pursuit is actually making us happier or better contributors to the world around us. So this isn't about quitting everything. It's about taking stock. It's about asking whether there are areas in our lives where we are unintentionally robbing ourselves of joy for outcomes that don't truly serve us. And this might show up in our careers or in our social commitments, or, and I think this is a really important one, in the expectations we place on ourselves. So the question isn't whether we should stop building. The question is whether what we are building still feels like freedom. If you also sometimes feel like running away, it might be worth asking why. What specifically feels heavy right now? What is actually draining you? And is it truly necessary or just something you never pause to question? Are you doing it out of love for yourself and others, or just because you think that you're supposed to? And most importantly, when will it be enough? Look, I live for growth and development and pushing the boundaries of who we are. But there is a shift that happens when fulfillment turns into obligation, and when ambition turns into that toxic pressure we all know. And when the life you build to feel expansive starts to suffocate you. You have probably come across this episode and were drawn to click it because you feel something pulling you toward taking stock of your life and maybe reconnecting with meaning and intention. Sometimes it is a good idea to listen to that whisper. That's usually not a signal to burn everything down, but it is an invitation to recalibrate. And if you evaluate it all and find that it is all worth it, then you'll have peace of mind that you are living your life on your terms and with intention. And that in turn will infuse fuel back into your mission again. But if you find that some things have outlived their usefulness, or that you are just ready to adjust or even step into a new way of living, this is the opportunity to start that process. Right now, I don't think you and I are meant to escape to Thailand, but rather to build a life that doesn't make us want to. That's it from me for today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic in the comments below, and if you have maybe made a brave change in your life, or even a very subtle one that just gives you a bit more freedom, also let me know. I'd love to celebrate with you. Other than that, thanks for hanging out with me again today. Have a beautiful rest of your day or evening, and I'll catch you again in the next episode. Bye.